Alright, hey, what's up, you guys? Gavin here. Today we're going to be talking about something great, something really good. If you haven't heard, Spoon, I'll leave a link in the description where you can find them. They're a really great band. They're from Austin, and yeah, it's the album we're talking about is They Want My Soul. Alright, so to start off, I'm listening to The Rent I Pay. This is a really good song. In my opinion, I think Inside Out should have been the opening song, but that's not how it goes. So, it's, whatever. What a way to start, right? You just match on the band. I'm sorry. But, anyway. So they definitely have that, like, rock sounding kind of, kind of country rockish type sound. You can kind of tell that they're from Texas, pretty much. And, first thing I'll talk about is the first impressions. Now, when I first heard Spoon, it wasn't from, like, this album. I was like, oh yeah, let me go look up Spoon. What had happened was, I had been, like, looking at movies. I was watching a movie, and one movie I came across was called I Love You Man, and pretty much the premise of the movie was about this guy who was like, he didn't have any friends, and like he was getting married, and his wife was kind of concerned about who he's gonna bring, who's gonna be his best man, who are gonna be his I don't know what they're called, little side men that stand on the side, stand with you at the wedding. But yeah, that was a concern of hers, because she was like, even her friends were concerned, because he didn't have any friends. They didn't know what he was gonna bring. So anyways, he takes it upon himself to go and look for a friend. And yeah. So in the movie, there's like the beginning of the movie. There's a song called Underdog, and that's where I first heard Spoon. Now, Underdog didn't really sell me as a song that I would really like to listen to, and I don't know. Just not that I couldn't get into them. It's just it didn't really like hit me at like, oh yeah, it's gonna be on my iPod soon. But what it was, they had, years after seeing that movie, never thought about Spoon, never thought about that band. It was whatever. It wasn't until I saw this commercial, I think it was a Coca-Cola or like a cherry Coke or Dr. Pepper is what it was. It was a Dr. Pepper commercial. And in the commercial they had their song, Cherry Bomb or Cherry Spice or something. And that's where I first heard them. And I really liked that song because, I don't know, it just sounded cute to me. I wonder if it's a cover. But yeah. So that my first impression off of that song, because I think I had a better impression than Underdog. Because Underdog sounded really like, I don't know, average to me. And I was just not feeling it as much. But Cherry Blossom or Cherry Bomb was kind of like, okay, I can dig this. But it didn't get me into them. Like, I didn't go look for the album yet. This wasn't about how I got across to the album. It's how I got introduced to them and was like, okay, I could see myself listening to them. What it was that I have been looking up, I've been kind of curious as to know which bands out of Austin made it, Like, in Seattle, you could name a couple bands. New York, many bands. Los Angeles, so many bands, it's not even funny. But, like, you really rarely ever hear anything about Austin. Austin, Texas is big bands. and Spoon is really amongst the many, like 2 or 3 that really people know about. At least I got exposed to. Anyways, so now we're back on Inside Out, and this is a really good song. Now, I feel like this album is like a more indie pop rock than like just straight rock. Like if you hear rock, it's kind of more fast paced, or it's a little more dingier, or it's like about something that isn't necessarily religious. And this could probably get away with, I don't know, anything amongst those things that I listed. Inside Out. Funny, the whole video was just me dancing. I mean, I've seen people just eat, and I was like, I mean, it's a good video when you caught me watching it. You know, I watch these videos like 10 or 15 times a day, but it's just, it blows my mind that literally the content is just you eating. Like, it's nothing bad, like, fuck it, you're getting paid to eat, like, who wouldn't want that shit? My bad. But it just amazes me that, like, that's your content. Like, I don't know. For me, I feel like my videos are something I wanted to be proud of, and I mean, it arguably those people, you know, they found their way. But to me, it's just like, I don't know. I couldn't just eat on camera and consider that, but like, I don't know. I feel like y'all want something substantial. I don't know. Like, to be real, to be cool, to be informative, to bring light to something that you don't know about. Like, I'm telling you about something you may not know about. I don't know, it's really interesting that you just saw me eat cereal on this camera, like, and you'd be like, why? Maybe if I had more status, you'd be more into me about that, but I feel weird. I feel like, Anyway, so back to the album. So the next song is Rainy Taxi. Now, I don't really, I downloaded these songs onto my phone, and I haven't really like clicked on them yet, which by the time I do, I think it'll be better than like, okay, this is a good song. So, I want to talk about my favorite song, but I haven't really listened to the album long enough for me to figure out which song I really like go bananas for. So, I'm going to be listening to those bands and then listening to the album and just figure it out as we go. We're like 9 minutes in. Longest video I've ever done was like 30 minutes. This is a good song. Hear my little tippity tappities. Alright, so that's a pretty good song. I don't know what this one's about. Alright. It was, man, the ads are cool, I guess, but they're just like so in your face and just constantly like, ah. Alright, so we're getting into the song. It looks crazy as heck. The only song that I've really heard like over and over is this one song called "Let Me Be Mine," and I like that song, but I'm definitely not gonna consider that one my favorite. This is a pretty good song. It's definitely giving me the Spoon vibes. I feel like this album was way different than what I expected from Spoon. What I expected from Spoon was like Underdog and I think Cherry Bomb, which I'm kind of considering looking up because I feel really unknown. Cherry. Alright, so it is Cherry Bomb. It's called You Got Your Cherry Bomb. This one's okay. I'm gonna go to the next one. I like this one. See, yeah. These kind of are like, I don't know how to describe, but if you've ever listened to, what's his name? It's not Charlie Puth. I don't want to say Charlie Puth because it's not Charlie Puth. It's like, he sings Chamber of Secrets. If you know who I'm talking about, leave a comment in the comment section. But I want to look it up. I think his name's Mac DeMarco. That's what it is. Yeah, it's giving me like a little bit of Mac DeMarco feels. Not completely, because Mac DeMarco is like really like ambient type music. Like you have to be like fucking, ooh, my bad. You have to be really like stoned or just on something. You slept too long and now you're just like in a haze. It's a good one too. So we're moving along these songs pretty fast. It's really crazy to me, like, Austin bands. Like, these are the only ones. Like, I know so many Austin bands. So many. And it's like, it's not where did we go wrong, just what did they do that was right? You know, was it that they were pop and they were mainstream and they just got a hold of that? Because that's kind of what I'm leaning on. But part of me just says that I think at the time, you know, people, when they really want something, they really want it and they really go get it. And I feel like these bands in Austin, they want it, they really do, but when you want something, you have to believe that you can get it to actually get it. And no matter how positive you can be in a negative environment, you're still in a negative environment. And those little moments that you're being negative can do so much damage on your beliefs and how you see things. You know? Consciously, you're like, yeah, I can do it. But subconsciously, you're like, I'm never going to do this, so you're never going to get there. And it sucks because all these really good bands are fucking bomb. My God, cussing, jeez. No, that's 3 bad words. But you keep, like, you're so good and you don't want it that much. You don't want it that bad. And you can get it, like, just believe in yourself, but having no beliefs in general makes it really hard for people to believe in anything. So it's a really sad story, because it's like they end up getting stuck in this bubble, in this world of like city rock, and it's cool, opening up for all these cool bands, but you never get to be those cool bands. And I really want to see more of the Austin bands getting big, because it brings hype to Austin. It brings chances for other bands that live in Austin and are trying to get big, or at least exposed. A little bit of exposure isn't gonna hurt anyone. Just because you're exposed doesn't mean you're gonna make top charts of everything. Your music isn't gonna go to the radio right off the bat. Like, it takes time for stuff like that. But a little exposure it makes it worth what you're doing. It makes the time that you put in worth it. You get a little bit of buzz, you get a little bit of like, a little bit more money than you were making. You get to go to more places because more people will know about you and want to see you. It makes the time that you put in worth it. So I think that, these Austin bands that I go and see, like, I wish they would want it more. Like, really want it. Like, knowing that they can get what they want. But it's cool. Sometimes contentment can be poisonous, Like, not knowing, but being comfortable in one place, being content with it, and, getting used to things can make it it's just really poisonous. This is a good song too. Alright, so through all these songs, I think my favorite one is probably gonna be Inside Out. So far these songs are good, but they're not. Oh, hold on, one more song. This song sounds pretty good. It's a good bit of song. It's called I Just Don't Understand. And it's okay. I like it. But I'm gonna have to say hands down, Inside Out is New York Kiss. All these songs have really good beginnings and they have really good openings, but then they play through and it's like, it's okay. But the song that was like really like, sort of weird Snickers. The one that really like stuck out to me was like Bomb, was probably Inside Out. Anyways, so the next thing is eclectic bands. Now, eclectic bands, I would consider eclectic like, this is an eclectic band. Now, you know what? 1975. 1975 is another eclectic band. Like, it's kind of like indie rock, pop, meets, southern somehow, or like accented. It's kind of, I don't know, it feels European in a lot of ways. So I'm not gonna talk too much about the eclectic bands because I can only really think of this one and 1975. If you want to leave a comment in the comment section about other eclectic bands like 1975, like pop rock bands, I wouldn't consider like 5 Seconds of Summer or like Hey Monday or something like that. Those are like those aren't indie. Those are just pop rock. I'm talking about like indie rock, indie pop, like stuff like that. Anyway, we're gonna move on to our next part, which is band similarities, dissimilarities. The only band I can think of that's similar or not is the 1975. It's the only thing that strikes me about this band is that they kind of remind me of 1975. Dissimilarities, I haven't really listened to the 1975 too well, so it's kind of hard for me to be like, I know the differences right away. But they honestly just sound really alike. Lyrics, Miracle. Okay. Alright, so I'll talk about the lyrics for like a second. Now, the first one was called Rent I Pay, and I think by rent I pay they mean like the things you have to sacrifice, you know? And it's not necessarily like literally the rent I pay. I think it's like, so you live at home and your mom is like missing a leg and you have to help her, and you can't really move on with your life because you have to stay home and help your mom because she's handicapped, and it makes it hard for her to take care of your brothers and sisters, so you have to do that. And that's your rent to pay. That's the life you were given. So yeah, that's kind of a sad way to look at it, but I feel like that's what it comes down to. Time's gone inside out. Some of these songs don't really, I think they have a lot of them have to do with love and loss, because that seems to be the main theme. But nevertheless, it's pretty good. Yeah, to sum it up, pretty much the whole album is kind of a little bit here of love and loss, and kind of a mix of what I said before, of like the life you were given and the way of going about it. So, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the vocals. Now, I don't really have much to say about the vocals. I mean, they're pretty good. They have an accent, which I think is kind of stylish. Gives it kind of a style that I really dig. But yeah, I don't really see anything wrong. It's not really like powerful. It's not like overcoming like Johnny Craig. I feel like his voice is very powerful and overcoming, and draws people in. Same with Tillian. If you don't know what I'm talking about the lead singers of Dance Gavin Dance. Johnny Craig was a previous vocalist, and Tillian is the current vocalist. If you didn't know already, if this is your first time watching, I'm a huge Dance Gavin Dance advocate. They are my favorite band, and I could talk about them all day and night. I talk about them at least once in every video. But yeah. But to sum it up, I give this album a 3 out of 5. Mainly because I really liked it, but I haven't gotten attached to it. And it's my first time hearing them, so it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, I really love them right off the bat. But I definitely like them, and I think everyone should check them out. Link is in the description where you can find them. And yeah, don't forget to leave this video a comment. Give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.